Hello everybody, I'm United States Congressional candidate Kari Ilonummi. I'm here with a very important message today, and I would like to discuss a few variables and concerns that have been on my mind. Ultimately, I'd like to discuss what's happening with the economy and whatnot. Ultimately, I made a deal and a promise not to attack any of my opponents in this race this year for Congress, other than the incumbent herself, prior to the primary elections, in a fair deal and whatnot. So going step by step with that and trying to keep that promise, of course, as it doesn't benefit any of us opponents to attack each other when it only helps the incumbent to get reelected and whatnot. And ultimately, so the economy, I'm expecting over literally the weeks or next 90 days ahead at latest to experience the beginning of a major stock market bond crash. I'm not trying to fearmonger anybody, but this will happen. If I'm wrong, then I'll be the first one to let you know it. This is something that's been kicked down the road a little bit, but it's coming to roost and whatnot ultimately. So will the bank bail-in forecast of 2016 come into play with this round regarding some of what would be, or large portions of your pensions, bank account money, savings, retirement, so on and so forth, 401ks being gobbled up and used to pay off these debts? Will that come into play? I don't know if that is on the near horizon or not, but the stock market aspect and bank bonds in general are going to be very risky business, and I believe we will see, as I mentioned, a major stock market, more than just a debacle. It's going to be heavy duty and whatnot. I'm a libertarian-minded, independent guy, a candidate running as a Republican this year, as many of you know, and whatnot, for U.S. House of Representatives in the 5th District of Washington State, ultimately. And as I ran 2 years ago against Congressman Rick Larsen in the 2nd District of Washington State, I ran as a nonpartisan candidate, to make a long story short, but it does seem to be a two-party system these days, and under the circumstances, I chose to basically embrace not necessarily the full party line, but ultimately I decided to go with the Republican Party for running for office. But I don't just embrace the platform when there's so many flaws and whatnot under the circumstances. I know many people all over the political spectrum, and with so many people these days not really being focused to achieve those long-term goals, such as Congresswoman McRogers and whatnot, McMorris Rogers of Washington State, the incumbent that I'm running against, and others in Congress on both sides of the aisle, not really just having with it. We're in a situation here where people are living and paying the bills month to month, and it's not creating the financial safety and security for what would be families, businesses, and society overall here in Washington State and whatnot, and nationwide. And that is becoming very clear, apparent, and obvious. The prices of food have doubled, and things are getting harder and harder for everyone. So I see so many different people's, what would be political views, groups out there. There's cults and ideas, but no one seems to really want to work together. Overall, no one seems to really want to work together in common interest to achieve these overall long-term goals. Everybody has their own thing, these days, and we as patriots need to become more organized and learn to work together very, very fast, or we're all going to learn to regret that in very short order, I can assure you. So let's be fair. I'm not just putting down liberals or Democrats. It's just as many Republicans whom are lying, hypocrite scums as well, such as, example, Representative Trey Gowdy. So we are all losing. The price of food has doubled, as I mentioned. Businesses and many of your jobs are really just hanging on by a mere thread. Little do many of you know, and some of you do know it. Some people are living this real delusional fairy tale life, thinking it's never going to happen to you, it's always going to be somebody else. But you just wait to see the effects of what happens over what would be these months ahead, and how it comes to affect possibly many of you in your households over the months ahead and into what would be 2019 especially. So it's time for everyone in society in and out of politics to start to learn to show empathy, appreciation, tolerance, compassion, and whatnot, willingness to work together ultimately before we all seriously regret it. We all need one another if we like it or not. It's just how it is. We all have differences. We can all put each other down and we can talk about this or that and say, I'm not going to work with him because I don't like him. They're too liberal. They're too conservative. Oh. You know what? Buck up. We're all adults. Like it or not. We're all losing now. You used to get to laugh at other people. Now you and your families are getting a little bit more worried about the future. Is that funny to you? No, it's not. We're all losing. We're all starting to drown in the Titanic together. So why don't we all start to learn to work together before it's too late? I'm United States Congressional candidate Kari Ilonummi. I urge you for your support this year. I'm looking forward to the primaries coming up in 2 weeks from tomorrow. God bless you, citizens of Washington State and the nation. I have been doing a lot of diligent work for you behind the scenes, and more than you'll know. Thank you so much. Keep up with everything, and I will be back very shortly with more for you.